Adopting a child as an act of virtue not only fulfills the desires of an otherwise possibly childless couple, but it is also seen as a way to improve the future for disadvantaged children. Most of the children who are adopted come from impoverished countries, where they lack relatives, or if they have a family, they are unable to care for them due to economic constraints or because their hometowns are embroiled in conflict and dispute. In countries with advanced economies like South Korea, however, there is a growing trend of sending a significant number of children abroad for adoption, but it is uncertain whether their lives will be any better. This sending of children to live with new families in distant places is partially influenced by certain social norms within South Korea itself. During the bustling market hours in Seoul, there's a vibrant mix of people going about their daily lives, many purchasing and consuming various fresh and dried foods. Hayley enjoys being here because it allows her to witness the normal lives of people with which she is still unfamiliar. Although Hayley's physical appearance and ethnicity are Korean, the smells, sounds and everything else in this place still feel very new to her. That's because she left this land when she was only 3 months old.
I was adopted when I was 3 months old. So I think, so I'm told from my records. I grew up in Denmark since I was 3 months old with my adoptee parents at that point, and I have an older sister, also an adoptee from Korea.
Is that peach?
Yeah.
At the fruit stall there are plump, ripe and vibrant red cherries that entice us. This young Korean woman confidently engages in conversation and negotiates the price with the seller, trying to use her broken Korean. Hayley is one of many South Korean children who were adopted and taken abroad at a young age. For 34 years, she was raised and loved by a Danish family. This little girl received excellent care and affection. She graduated from a leading university in Denmark and has a good job. Life seems fulfilled and complete, but something is missing. Sometimes she feels different because of her appearance. Her facial features, skin and hair colour make her stand out from the others. More than that, there is a lingering question over who her birth parents are and what was their reason for giving her to other people. This confusion and curiosity has led Hayley to return to the country of her birth in search of answers.
I was always very curious about my background, but didn't have any actual information, only knowing the city I'm from and a name that was given to me by the orphanage. The questioning about birth family, yes, I guess, but as a younger age, it's more about having like access to your like heritage, like your culture you were born in.
The general perception is that countries that have a high number of children being adopted internationally suffer from poor economic conditions. South Korea, however, despite being a prosperous and developed country with a strong economy, ranks high in the number of children being sent abroad for adoption. This began after World War II and the Korean War, which displaced hundreds of thousands of children. After the armistice in 1953, when American troops came in and then withdrew, leaving behind around 40,000 half-Korean children, many of them were sent abroad to the United States, Canada and Europe as adoptees. In fewer than 30 years, due to resilience, determination and hard work, South Korea transformed itself into a leading global economy. The nation developed significantly, with increased income levels and improved quality of life for its people. Nonetheless, the wave of international adoptions continues, albeit in smaller numbers compared to the immediate post-war era. Many South Korean children are still sent abroad, indicating that despite the progress and reduced poverty, they face ongoing challenges. These children are not war orphans and have not directly experienced the impacts of war, but they are born into circumstances where they have to confront certain deep-rooted societal biases in South Korea.
If you want to see more great content from all over the world, please like the video, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.
A little girl under the age of 3 is playing happily with toys, while her mother lies next to her, accompanied by her younger half-sister. This small house in Seoul has been modified into an emergency shelter for unmarried women. The terms unmarried woman and illegitimate child remain stigmatizing and embarrassing in this society. Due to privacy concerns, the emergency shelter restricts filming to protect people residing in the house. The founder of the facility tells us about its origins, attitudes, and the prejudice faced by unmarried mothers. Clearly, she is passionate about this stigma, because she is one of them.
If the other parent knew the kids are unwed mother's kids, some of them treat them like not play with their child. Yeah, or sometimes the teacher treat them not good. When my son, when he 1 year, first grade of elementary school, yeah, the other mothers tell their kids don't play with him. Yeah, first time he don't know why, but his friends told my son, my mother told me don't play with you.
Korean society places great importance and value on the institution of family, specifically referring to a family consisting of a father, a mother, and children, where everyone has distinct roles and responsibilities. Any relationships outside of this framework cannot be considered a family. Societal norms don't accept unmarried pregnancy when there is no legitimate father for the child, rendering it unacceptable. Unmarried women face social stigma, often being ostracized by their own families, including their parents. Consequently, their lives become significantly more challenging, as they often have to become self-reliant economically, since many workplaces do not readily hire unmarried mothers. In this case, the young woman, who is only 20 years old, decided not to marry the father of her children, and she is now facing parental disapproval. She's unable to find work and doesn't want to abandon her young ones.
저는 부모님이 안 키워주시고 할아버지 할머니 키워주셨는데 그때는 거의 할아버지 할머니도 포기한 상태였죠. 제가 아기를 낳고 키운다 했더라도 제 고집을 못 꺾으신 걸 아시는 것 같아요. 제가 뭐 한다면 하고 저가 한다면 하는 성격이라 그래가지고 아무리 어른들 말이 오라도 저는 안 들었었죠. 그때는 갑자기 생긴 아이였고 그냥 좀 무서웠었죠. 그 갈등도 많이 했었고 키울까 아니면 내 미래를 위해서 그렇게 보낼까.
Unmarried women face both social and economic pressures. When they become pregnant without responsibility being taken by the male party, many choose abortion. Abortion becomes a pressured choice that, besides lacking support, comes with expenses and risks to both health and life. Recently, it has also become a legal issue. Some unmarried mothers opt to let the child forget about them and give them up for adoption through agencies that handle ethical child placement. In the case of this young woman, a mediator asked her to give up the child, but before making a decision, she received assistance in arranging temporary shelter in this house.
that time she has no place to go, and we provide her place, and then has no money, so we give them allowance, and then food, and every electronic bill and water bill.
If they didn't have this kind of home to rely on, the futures of these two children may depend on the adoption agency sending them abroad as adoptees. The little girl's fate lies solely with her mother. The future of the young woman and her children is still uncertain because the mother doesn't know how she'll be able to take care of herself and her children in the long run. There is ongoing controversy in South Korea about exporting children to become adoptees. In the 1950s, it was due to the large number of orphaned and impoverished children born shortly after the war. Today, South Korea is a highly developed and wealthy country, which raises increasing questions about the continued practice of sending children abroad as adoptees. The loudest voices are those of the children who have been adopted internationally.
I traveled halfway around the world to finally see her again, but I ended up going back to the US thinking I hadn't met her.
In 2004, 19 years ago, there was a surge in international adoptions, both in the United States and Europe, with these adoptees forming groups to investigate, write books, make documentaries, conduct research, and establish various organizations. Apart from searching for their birth parents, they also highlight the challenges they face, including the complexities, various impacts, aesthetic aspects, and disappointments which have turned their lives into something resembling puppets. They question the necessity for parents to give their children to others and the process of adopting children, which is very lucrative for some involved. There are companies that handle this process meticulously, providing consultation, finding children who fit the desired criteria, managing documentation, and coordinating with relevant agencies. In some cases, there may be secrecy, alteration, or manipulation of information to facilitate the exportation of children.
Family, government never helped, and unwanted mothers need their help. So that's why they go to the shelter, but shelter push the mothers for the adoption too. That's why we need to help each other. That's why we made this, and we changed many things.
The disclosure of shocking information by the international adoptee community and their earnest advocacy efforts have led to changes. The number of children being sent abroad as adoptees has decreased from tens of thousands per year to only 260 in 2013. This decline may not, though, have significant implications for the societal status of and attitudes towards unmarried mothers. They are still marginalised, with limited options, and the number of abandoned children has not decreased significantly. The sound of classical music resonates in the solemn atmosphere of this Christian church. It signifies the arrival of a child, but it can also be interpreted as a signal of a child being abandoned. On the exterior wall of the church, there is a box about the size of a small oven or large mailbox. This has become another option for mothers who are unable or unwilling to care for their children. The box bears the symbol of a mother cradling a child within a green heart and has an opening on the outside of the building into which mothers can place the infants they are about to abandon.
Outside?
Outside. Open.
Okay.
Oh.
So there's music, da 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 da, and then the baby will be here.
이제 이게 10초 안에서 밖에서 사이드에서 애려면 10초 안에서 보호를 하는 거예요.
Okay.
오픈.
Okay.
여기는 출생일을 꼭 적어주세요.
Inside the box, there's a cushion covered with soft fabric, an air conditioner, a heater, and a closed-circuit camera. When the baby is placed inside, and after enough time to allow the mother to leave the scene, a musical alarm will sound and the camera will transmit images from inside. Within 10 seconds, a church official will come to open the box from the inside and remove the baby. The church started this baby drop box service 10 years ago, with the intention of saving unwanted children's lives.
여기는 엄마가 얘기를 버린 데가 아니고 엄마들이 이 아이만큼은 살리려고 하는 그래서 살리기 위해서 여기까지 데려왔거든요. 그래서 베이비박스에 들어온 아이들은 엄마들로 하여금 지켜진 아이들이에요. 버려진 아이가 아니고 지켜진 아이들. 왜?
Since the installation of the box, hundreds of children have been placed inside. The shelves are filled with cans of powdered milk formula and disposable diapers, just like a baby products store. Currently, there are 7 adorable and chubby children under care. Volunteers have come forward to help take care of them. The futures of the children abandoned here vary. Some mothers leave their child in the box and come back to reclaim them later. If the mother doesn't return, some children may be chosen by prospective adoptive parents, while others will be sent to a foster care facility.
The first one is the mama will take back. Second is adoption, right? Adoption. And the third, this one, the 4 and the number 5, going to orphanage. So no one adopting her?
얘는 시설 출생신고가 안 됐기 때문에 시설로 가는 거예요.
The act of leaving children in boxes may be based in good intentions of the church, which provides a safe haven for them. It also raises profound and lingering questions. The process of abandoning children is kept secret, with no one witnessing the person who leaves them or revealing their names or identities. Does this support make it easier and therefore more likely that mothers will choose to abandon their children? Another related question is whether having boxes for child abandonment contributes to the practice of adopting these children as acts of virtue. Many Korean children who were adopted and raised abroad have grown up, and some choose to return and search for their birth parents. This is not easy. It's not just because the mother abandoned them. The process of international adoption also cuts all connections between the birth mother and the child. In the case of Haley, she has very little information about her birth mother, with only a distant relative, discovered through DNA testing, who claimed to have no knowledge of her mother. Today, she has ceased searching for her birth mother, and instead focuses on helping other adoptees in their quest by utilizing DNA testing.
It's very, very difficult to reach those birth families sometimes. Some of them won't even, will never even stand out to admit that they've given up a child for adoption. That can be one reason. So it's very stigmatizing for them. And it might be a subject that they had never talked about their whole lives. So having them to step forward is very, very complicated process. So it's also about a lot of trust. And so just arriving here and offering free DNA kits won't just automatically give us a lot of samples, you know.
After nearly 2 years of living in what is now a foreign land to her, Haley has decided to stay in South Korea, despite being far away from her beloved adoptive family and home. There are several challenges she faces, including adjusting to a different way of life, an unfamiliar environment, the need to learn a new language, and the possibility of never seeing her biological parents or relatives. These challenges do not, however, make her feel alienated or disconnected from this place. Denmark remains her home, and the same goes for South Korea. The exportation of South Korean children in recent years goes beyond the benefits for certain groups. Another important factor is the attitudes towards abortion and single motherhood. These factors not only contribute to the existence of child abandonment boxes, but also fuel the international adoption industry. The baby boxes may provide a small measure of safety for abandoned infants, and international adoption may offer them a chance to be cared for by adoptive parents. These are, however, merely addressing the symptoms of the problem. Campaigns promoting birth control, shared responsibility among fathers, fostering understanding and changing societal attitudes towards unwed mothers and their children are crucial. Additionally, the implementation of laws, welfare systems and support networks for single mothers are essential in tackling this crisis.